All right, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. So we're back at it again, talking about the AFC East today. Now, this division is definitely more interesting than AFC South, and these teams have something they're fighting for. It's not a simple matter of saying that one team completely owns it. No, there are two other teams that are fighting for this division that could bring challenge. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. We've got the AFC East. How did this division go down last year? Well, this division was won by the Buffalo Bills last season, but they did have some competition in the names of the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. However, they were able to overcome both of them and they won the division. The Buffalo Bills last year won this division, headed into the wild card game against the New England Patriots, and proceeded to smoke them out the building. They were having a fun time in Buffalo. They've been waiting for this moment for so long. Finally, they felt like they took the keys. They took the reins from the New England Patriots. Finally, the Buffalo Bills feel that they own the division now, and we'll see if they can keep that up. So they smoked them. Josh Allen was brilliant. 5 touchdown passes. He was cooking that Patriots defense. It was beautiful. Perfect quarterback play, great defense, doing everything they needed to do. After that, they headed to the divisional game to take on their most hated foe. Well, not their most hated foe, but their most hated foe for now, their rivals, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, in the previous year, Buffalo got to the AFC Championship game and took on this very same Chiefs team, and they fell short due to the fact that they could not touch Patrick Mahomes. Their front seven was a problem, so what did they do? They beefed up their front seven. With this beefed up defense, being the #1 defense as well, they believe they can actually come into Kansas City, and this time they will get it done and they will beat the Chiefs. Unfortunately, the situation did not change. The result was the same. Even though you had a fantastic performance by Josh Allen, it wasn't enough. And I do gotta say, both Mahomes and Allen played one of the greatest playoff games we've ever seen. That was damn near perfect quarterback play from both quarterbacks. They were just throwing haymakers at each other. Both of them were coming up clutch. Both of them were making key throws and key plays down the stretch. They were flawless in that game. Unfortunately, it came down to who was going to get the ball last, and of course, the Chiefs got the ball last. I will say this though, I do feel bad for Josh Allen because he played a perfect football game, and it came down to 13 seconds. I said this when I made that video. The Bills season came down to 13 seconds and they couldn't hold. They couldn't stop Mahomes. They got to field goal range, kicked the field goal, tied the game, forced overtime. And in overtime, Chiefs got the ball and they completely smoked the #1 defense in the Buffalo Bills and advanced to the AFC Championship game once again. So, despite how great Josh Allen played, unfortunately, the Bills lost in the divisional round, and that's how their season came to an end. New England Patriots somehow managed to make the playoffs. You know, the previous year they missed the playoffs. There's no Tom Brady. Who's going to take over? That team was up and down. We knew they were lost. They needed a change. They needed somebody to come in. Well, of course, Bill Belichick went out and drafted who many want to say is his next great project in Mac Jones. Mac Jones' rookie season wasn't the best, but he played in a system and he followed the formula. He was obviously in the best circumstance out of all the other rookies that played last year. So he did what he needed to do. He wasn't spectacular or he didn't stand out. He didn't showcase a lot of talents, but he did what he needed to do. He played within the system, had some solid games. At the end of the day, he helped this Patriots team get to the playoffs. Now, what did they do in the playoffs? Well, like I already said, they took on the Buffalo Bills and proceeded to get smoked. Now, of course, Mac Jones had several moments throughout the season where he showcased his rookie moment, but in the playoffs, he really had that rookie moment. He was not good. The moment was too big for him, bro. The moment was too big. He couldn't handle that Bills defense. They smoked him. The Patriots defense got smoked. It was an embarrassing loss for the New England Patriots, and they got kicked out the playoffs in the wild card round, and they got booted, completely booted out of Buffalo. It was that bad. But yeah, at the end of the day, they made the playoffs and got eliminated by the Bills in the wild card round. The Miami Dolphins started off the season very, very poor, but mid-season they went on like a 5 or 6 game winning streak and got back into playoff contention. But just like the previous year, they once again fell short. So they had 2 straight years where they were in the contention for the playoffs and fell short at the end of the day. Something's got to change. Hopefully that happened this year. And of course, Tua, by the way, throughout that entire season, he didn't showcase enough for people to believe in him. So we're not exactly sure what to make of Tua. And last but not least, the New York Jets. Not much to say there. Zach Wilson showcased some moments of brilliance the same way Sam Darnold did in his rookie year. But he also did the same thing Sam Darnold did. Showcased a lot of bad moments, a lot of bad picks. It is what it is. Jets are trying to build around him. We'll see what happens this year. All right, with that being said, let's get into our predictions. What are the ceiling and floors for each one of these teams? Let's start with the Bills. Well, after that loss, the Bills went into the offseason trying to figure out what they can do. You know, their defense once again disappointed them despite the fact that they had the number one defense. So what's the one thing they can do? Continue to bolster and add to this defense. So in the offseason, they definitely added some nice picks, but the biggest pick they definitely got was Von Miller. Von Miller is now with the Buffalo Bills, and that's going to make their front seven and that defense as a whole that much greater. So I can't wait to see how that's going to work out. I believe they also picked up OJ Howard. So they picked up him. So that's another weapon for Josh Allen to utilize. And we'll just see. Honestly, the Buffalo Bills are already one of the best teams in the league. Adding Von Miller really helps bolster that defense. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to win this division. I think they're going to be one of the best teams in the league. And I believe they could go the distance, but they have to prove they can beat the Chiefs. In terms of their ceiling, I have them at 14-3. I legitimately believe they could be the best team in the AFC. I believe they could potentially be the best team in the NFL. This is a team that I believe could win the Super Bowl last year. I'm not changing my mind from that. I think they have a really good shot to win the Super Bowl this year. That defense just has to show up in the playoffs. It has to show up in key moments. It showed up against the Patriots, but you're going up against a rookie. If you're going up against Patrick Mahomes, especially on the road, that defense needs to show up. They cannot play the way they played last year. So you can't be the number one defense and be giving up that many points. That defense has to show up in the postseason against these top tier guys, especially against a team like the Chiefs. So yeah, their ceiling is 14-3, and I think I have their floor at 10-7 or 11-6. Either way, they're winning the division and making the playoffs. I just don't believe anyone else in this division is going to take it from them at this point. The Bills are one of the best teams. They have one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. So yeah, Bills 14-3, their floor 10-7, potentially 11-6. Next up, we've got the New England Patriots. I don't think much has changed with the Patriots. They definitely added some pieces, but the main focus for them is to see any improvements in year 2 for Mac Jones. With that being said, their ceiling, I think, could be 11-6. I think they could potentially be a playoff team. They're another one of the teams, just like the Colts. I believe the Patriots are another one of those teams that will be in contention for a wild card spot. They're clearly not going to win the division, so they'll be in contention for a wild card spot. And when we look at their floor, I'm going to say their floor is around 9-8. I don't think there's that much of a difference. The Patriots, again, between their ceiling and floor, their ceiling's not high. It's a low ceiling and a high floor, if you want to say it like that. There's not much of a difference. 9-8 for their floor, 11-6 for their ceiling. I believe they're going to be in the playoff mix. But again, we'll be heading to that video next. Or at least we'll be heading to that division next with the AFC West. I think that division is probably the division that's going to take most of the playoff spots. We'll see what happens with that, but Patriots are going to be in the mix. Next up, we've got the Dolphins, and Dolphins are looking to finally break through. They added some pieces, but of course, the number one piece they added, the best person they picked up in free agency was Tyreek Hill. They got the cheetah. Somehow they got the cheetah to Miami. That's crazy. There is the way the Dolphins have built up both their offense and defense over the last years via free agency and the draft. There is no excuse for Tua this season. Bro, if you don't make the playoffs and you don't take that next step, bro, you're not the quarterback. You're just not. I like Tua. Tua's supposed to be my guy. I supported him. I believe he could be something in this league. But bro, you have been given all the tools this year to succeed. If this team cannot make the playoffs with all the pieces they've added over the last couple years, Tua's just not the guy. It's as simple as that. So Tua, you have a huge amount of pressure that's been put on you, which again, you're used to because people put a lot of unfair pressure on you already, but the pressure is going to be even higher heading into this year, specifically because that offense could be nuclear, bro. That offense could be explosive with the weapons you have. So yeah, man, I just think about that with Waddle and Waddle and Tyreek Hill, that offense is going to be nuclear. Yeah, Tua, you got to make it work. You got to get it done this year. There's no excuses for you if the Dolphins don't make the playoffs this year. I have the Dolphins ceiling at 10-7. They are also going to be another team in contention for the postseason. I have their floor at 8-9, assuming the situation doesn't work or Tua is not that guy. But the Dolphins, for the third straight year, are going to be in contention. Will they break through? We will have to wait and see. But I do have them in contention. And last but not least, the New York Jets. There's not much to say here. I'm going to be very honest here. I expect Zach Wilson to show some level of progression heading into year 2. The Jets actually made a lot of moves in that. They added pieces in the free agency and actually had a really great draft. I liked their draft. They had one of the best drafts this season. So I expect that to help, but they're building something. I don't think those draft picks are going to be hits just yet. This is something they're building over the next couple years. So because of that, I don't think all of a sudden they're going to come in and just be one of the teams that compete and contend in the AFC as a whole. I'm going to put them at 8-9. I think their ceiling is 8-9. They have a chance to showcase that they've definitely improved from the team they were last year, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really overwhelm anybody. The AFC is stacked this year, and I don't think the Jets match up, bro. I just don't think they do. So I'm going to put them at 8-9 as their ceiling, and if everything goes wrong again, their floor will be around 4-13. I think their floor can be very low because I just don't know. The Jets have talent, but sometimes things just don't go their way. And it all depends on how Zach Wilson looks in year 2. So it comes down to that as well. But yeah, I'll lean more towards the 8-9 spot as opposed to the 4-13. But those are my ceilings and floor. My final predictions, at least heading into training camp for the most part. I have the Buffalo Bills winning this division, and they'll have another crack at it in the postseason to try and make the Super Bowl. So Bills will win the division. I got the Patriots at number 2. I got the Dolphins at number 3, and both those teams will be fighting for a playoff spot. We'll see if they can make the playoffs, but, it's going to be tough this year. And at 4, I got the Jets at the bottom of the division, but they are going to show some improvement, which shows that they're building towards something that could be special over the next couple years. We'll see what happens with that. Anyway, that's all I have to say about the AFC East. Should be interesting this year. Let's see if somebody can try to compete again with the Bills. Patriots did it last year. Can they do it this year? And we'll see if the Dolphins can finally break through and make the playoffs. With that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace.